Richmond.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. And can I say what an honour it is to be here and to have been re-elected to this Parliament, the 48th Parliament. And I really want to thank the people of Richmond for putting their trust in me for the 8th time. It is, as I say, an incredible honour and indeed a massive privilege to be elected to the federal Parliament, and I take that honour very seriously. And to have been re-elected for the 8th time again, I do want to thank the people of Richmond for putting their trust in me. And of course, nationally Labor won the election and won with a very large majority, 94 seats, and more seats than any political party in Australia's history. And right across the country, we saw that people voted for Australian values of fairness, aspiration, opportunity, and these are the values that drive our government, the Albanese Labor government. And of course, our caucus is much bigger and so much more diverse, with 56% women and our new members being incredibly diverse and bringing a whole range of different skills and histories to our caucus and to the Parliament. And it's wonderful to see, I think we all agreed from seeing the first speeches, the incredible array of people that have been elected to the 48th Parliament. And of course, since we've been back here, our government's been extremely busy on delivering on particularly many of our election commitments, reducing HECS debt by 20%. Now, this was a huge issue, Deputy Speaker, in my electorate, out and about talking to locals who had those huge HECS debts. To have that decreased by 20% will make such a big difference to them. And of course, also, since we've been back, we're ensuring that medicines are cheaper. Again, vitally important in areas like mine, far north coast of New South Wales, and we have a large proportion of elderly people. So ensuring their medicines are cheaper, ensuring it's cheaper for families, all vitally important. And also, since we've been back, working to protect penalty rates, one of our many election commitments, because we know how important it is to have penalty rates in place. And Australians know that they can only rely on Labor to deliver for them when it comes to their working conditions and particularly protecting their penalty rates. Now, in terms of my seat of Richmond, I really want to thank all those that worked so hard for Labor to retain the seat, and I really do want to thank those that assisted on polling day, pre-poll, door knocking and the phone calls. Big thanks to all my wonderful staff, all of our local Labor members and those other Labor members that came and assisted us, the wonderful union movement, to our New South Wales head office and to the National Secretariat for their great work, and to all those volunteers and supporters that provided help to us. Together, we made more than 50,000 phone calls and door knocks in this campaign, out and about every day, talking to locals about the issues that are important to them. And I do want to thank everyone who did assist. Of course, special thanks to all of my family, my husband Craig and our children, and to our extended family as well. Thanks to all of you for your continued support over the last 8 terms and throughout this campaign as well. It means the world to me. And of course, in Richmond, we ran a very positive and optimistic campaign the whole time, and we were focused on delivering real cost of living relief for locals, including the tax cuts for every taxpayer, incredibly important in my area, strengthening Medicare, an issue that comes up all the time, fixing our housing crisis, which has made it so difficult in terms of people being able to access a house, housing affordability, rentals, also investing in renewables, boosting wages, free TAFE, which has been a real game changer across the country. And in my seat of Richmond, more than 5,000 people have been able to access our free TAFE plan. And what a difference it makes, not just for them getting those increased education, but also their capacity to find work, and it strengthens our economy as well. And as I referred to earlier, cutting HECS by 20%, we've got more than 19,000 people in my electorate who will benefit from that. Our cheaper home batteries plan, which, as we know, is being taken up at a huge rate across the country. Indeed, Richmond is one of the highest electorates for the take-up rate for that, which is great to see. Other policies like energy bill relief for every household, cheaper childcare and medicines, more rent assistance, again, making a big difference. And of course, we've also always had a very strong focus on strengthening our economy, creating more than 1 million jobs in that last term of government, keeping our economy strong so we can keep delivering on all the vital services that we do. And of course, the campaign, like all, as we know, all tough campaigns, we had on one hand the Liberal National Party, who were in disarray and talking most of the time about their nuclear policy, which I know, speaking to all those people in my community, they totally rejected that. The cost of it, just the danger of it, they were just honestly thought it was quite absurd, and clearly that's what Australians thought right across the board. And of course also in my electorate the Greens were rejected as well, again because of the extreme nature, particularly blocking so many good initiatives like housing. Everywhere I'd go people would say to me they were done with the Greens in terms of the fact they were blocking really good initiatives that we have, and I think that both the Greens political party and the Liberal National Party did pay the price for constantly blocking our initiatives, and I think the Australian people have spoken very loudly and clearly to both those political parties that Australians don't want to see constant blocking. They want to see improvements, and they wanted to see in place the improvements that we had, particularly when it comes to housing. Now, of course, throughout the campaign, full credit goes to our wonderful Prime Minister. He was out there every day focused on building Australia's future and talking about Labor's positive policies. And I made it very clear during the campaign to my community they could always count on me to keep delivering for our region as part of an Albanese Labor government. And at the election there was a very clear choice between building Australia's future with us or taking Australia backwards with the Liberals and Nationals, which we know would have left us all worse off. And we pointed out, and I pointed out every day in my region, that our cost of living relief was all at risk under the Liberals and Nationals because they opposed every single one of Labor's cost of living measures and even voted against tax cuts as well. People just found that absolutely appalling. And as I did point out many times, Peter Dutton, the former opposition leader, when he was health minister, he wanted to scrap bulk billing and introduce a tax on every single visit to the GP, started a 6-year freeze on Medicare rebates and cut $50 billion from our hospitals. So locals know that when the Liberals and Nationals say that they'll cut public services, that affects Medicare, bulk billing, our cheaper medicines, veterans' claims and the age pension as well. And indeed, Peter Dutton himself had said there were too many free Medicare services, and locals completely rejected all of any of the measures by the Liberals and Nationals when it comes to healthcare because they don't trust them. But indeed, since the election, unfortunately, we've seen no reflection or change or policies from those opposite or from the Greens political party. No lessons have been learnt. They haven't listened to the community right throughout the country in terms of why they've been rejected. And I think they all need to be doing that and reflect upon the policies and their actions as well. Because the fact is, Labor is strengthening Medicare, and we're very, very proud of that, with more bulk billing and training more doctors and increasing the Medicare rebate. It's so important. And of course, also in my region, I made a number of election commitments like the free bulk bill Medicare Urgent Care Clinic, the Medicare Mental Health Centre, the Crime Action Plan and funding for the Byron Bay Wildlife Hospital. Again, initiatives that I'll detail in a minute that will really have positive improvements for the New South Wales North Coast. And of course, throughout the campaign, I talked about my record of delivery and working very closely with the community and what we have delivered. And indeed, I've delivered more than $3 billion, in fact, for our area, including all of my previous election commitments from the 2022 election. And I'll run through those in a minute in a little bit more detail. We've got the new Animal Pound, the new Veterans Hub, Social Enterprise Laundry, and the Lennox Head Village upgrade, because people know that when I make a promise, I will always deliver on it, and we've seen all of those election commitments delivered. Now, to the 2025 election, earlier this year I announced that a re-elected Albanese Labor government would deliver a Medicare urgent care clinic for the Tweed region, and we're now delivering on that with the tender process started and underway from the 22nd of August. And that will identify a provider to operate that Tweed urgent care clinic. And this clinic will give more locals access to high-quality and free walk-in urgent health care that they need. And I've said to many people in our community, as your local Labor MP, you can count on me to deliver that urgent care clinic in the Tweed region so you can get the free, fully bulk billed urgent care you need. All you'll need is your Medicare card, not your credit card. And the new Tweed Valley Medicare Urgent Care Clinic will be open over extended hours, 7 days a week, with no appointment needed, and all patients will be fully bulk billed. And what a difference it will make. And the clinic, of course, is intended also to take the pressure off the Tweed Valley Hospital and will fill an important gap in services across extended hours and over the weekend. A tender process led by North Coast Primary Health Network has commenced, as I said, to identify that provider to operate the new clinic. It'll be open to general practices, community health centres and Aboriginal community-controlled health services. And this really does extend on the Albanese Labor government's commitment to strengthen Medicare. And of course, we've had the single largest investment in Medicare since its creation more than 40 years ago, and we are very, very, very proud of our continued investment in Medicare. Now, I also announced earlier this year that a re-elected Albanese Labor government would establish a Medicare mental health centre in Tweed Heads. And when we have that, it will mean that locals will have access to free walk-in mental health care when that centre is open. Again, it'll be open for extended hours, no appointment needed or referral to access those services, just walk in and they are free. It'll be staffed by qualified mental health professionals to provide the support for what people need. And it's, again, it will be a tender process through the North Coast Primary Health Network, who will commission the Tweed Medicare Mental Health Centre. And this is really important because, as we've discussed here, we discussed a lot at home too, the mental health needs of my community, indeed throughout the country, are quite extensive, and particularly in our region after our devastating 2022 floods. There are still many people that do require support from that as well. So having that in place will be vitally important, particularly that people can just walk in and that it is free as well. Again, it builds on all the things that our government does to provide health services. Now, also late last year, I was very pleased to announce, this in Lennox Head, and the Prime Minister was there for the announcement that if re-elected, that we'd be delivering $3 million for a North Coast Crime Prevention Infrastructure Action Plan. And I do want to note and thank all of the community. Again, this is a real community victory. Labor always listens and acts, and our community had called for this. And I do want to thank the Prime Minister for coming to Lennox Head to make that announcement late last year. Now, this $3 billion commitment will fund infrastructure measures for crime prevention and community safety in our North Coast communities. It includes $1 million for each of those 3 local government areas, Tweed, Byron and Ballina. And I certainly know, as a former frontline police officer, firsthand how important it is that we have more resources, including CCTVs, to combat crime on the North Coast. Now, of course, it's up to each of the councils to decide how that money is used in terms of community safety, but it could be delivering CCTV, it may be lighting, bollards, fencing and landscaping to improve community safety and reduce crime risks, whilst enhancing the vibrancy and usability of shared community spaces. And again, I do want to stress a community victory, and thanks to everyone who advocated for this. And again, another election commitment, a very exciting one, $2 million for the Byron Bay Wildlife Hospital. And of course, yes, they are fantastic. They opened in 2020. They operate 7 days a week. They've treated more than 9,000 native animals, including hundreds of threatened species. And the Byron Bay Wildlife Hospital is a hospital that operates inside a custom-built semi-trailer, making it Australia's only mobile wildlife hospital. And it can also be deployed during natural disasters and treat impacted wildlife. They do an amazing job, and I do want to acknowledge the whole team at Byron Bay Wildlife Hospital for their important veterinary work rehabilitating native animals and really leading the way for wildlife protection across our region, and for their strong community advocacy as well. Thank you. It is again another community victory that I was able to announce that election commitment. I very much look forward to delivering on that as well. As I said, Deputy Speaker, locals can always count on me, and I've delivered all of my 2022 election commitments, and great to see them all in place. The $1.5 million towards the completion of the Lennox Head Village upgrade, a wonderful village, one of our most beautiful coastal villages. We have many in my region, and it makes a huge difference to the local infrastructure having that. Also, the Beacon Laundry, and in fact last year the Prime Minister and I officially opened the Beacon Laundry in Bangalore, which is a jobs-focused not-for-profit social enterprise run by White Box Enterprises, who run similar projects across the country. And our election commitment was for $750,000 to help fit out that laundry. And of course that laundry is now up and running and employing more than 100 locals, and it provides vital job opportunities for long-term unemployed locals where they get to gain work experience and receive ongoing training in a fully supported environment. But it's also of huge benefit to our local tourism industry, as we didn't have a large-scale commercial laundry on the North Coast, but now we do. And Beacon Laundry provides that laundry option for businesses in tourism, and they are very, very busy and constantly employing more people. And also, my election commitment of $5 million for the Veterans Hub, and the temporary hub's now open, and it's fantastic. It's in Tweed Heads, and I really want to acknowledge RSL Life Care Veteran Services and RSL New South Wales, who we work closely with to get that open. It's located in Wharf Street, Tweed Heads, and the temporary hub's and the permanent hub's opening in the same spot. And they've got tailored veteran supports and services, and that's so important for local veterans to improving their health and wellbeing and whatever services they may need. Important to provide that for those who've bravely served our nation and for their families as well. And I know these Veterans Hubs have been a great success across the nation, so very proud to have one in our region. And the last of my 2022 commitments I want to speak about is the Tweed Shire Council Pound, the new pound, which we're going to be opening up very soon. And it's a new pound and rehoming centre in South Murwillumbah. And I do want to acknowledge the Tweed Shire Council, who advocated strongly for this and are currently building or finishing that off. And my election commitment in 2022 is for $1 million for the pound, and also built on the $1.76 million in federal funding we'd already secured. So a massive federal funding initiative for the pound. And the design and build of the facilities in line with the latest in animal welfare guidelines and features new dog kennels, catteries and facilities, and replaces the old pound at Stotts Creek. And I especially want to acknowledge the remarkable people at Friends of the Pound who do such a great job in looking after our animals. And Deputy Speaker, I have told the House this before, but when we did make the announcement about our election commitment in late 2021, Friends of the Pound brought along some wonderful animals, including some rescue dogs, and I met and fell in love with Teddy, half Chihuahua, and we adopted him, and 6 months later adopted his sister Cindy Lou. And I know that locals at one know they're doing very well, and we keep in constant contact with Friends of the Pound, acknowledge the remarkable work they continue to do, and having this new facility will just add to that great work. And Deputy Speaker, in the time I have left, I do want to speak about all of our initiatives around housing, and indeed this is one of the biggest issues that we do face in our region and right across the country. And so pleased to have the announcement the other day that we are, in fact, as a government, helping more Australians realise their dream of home ownership sooner by launching the 5% deposit for first home buyers early on the 1st of October this year instead of next year. And what a response there has been to that. So important that so many people, younger Australians, can buy their homes sooner, and it builds on all of the initiatives that we've had in place in terms of providing housing support, access to it. We need to have more houses built. We need to have all these initiatives we have in place, and we are absolutely committed to doing that. And also earlier this year, I did announce a very important initiative for my region, and that is that the Albanese Labor government's delivering 15 new affordable units in Brunswick Head through the first round of the Housing Australia Future Fund. And of course, we're committed to improving more social and affordable housing. And these particular homes for renters, first home buyers, women and children fleeing domestic violence, for those at risk of homelessness. That's why having these units will make such a big difference when we know the needs when it comes to social and affordable housing are quite extensive. So I was very proud to have that announcement in place. And of course, we previously announced the 26 safe places for women and children fleeing domestic violence in Tweed Heads as well. But as a government, we are totally focused to improving the housing situation across the country, whether it be those home deposits or whether it be through Housing Australia or one of our other many initiatives that we have. It is a strong focus, I know, for the Prime Minister and the entire government. And just lastly, I do want to mention yet again another great initiative from our government that helps us so much in terms of healthcare. There was a reclassification of Murwillumbah from a city to a regional area, which meant it was a game changer for those local GPs and patients. It meant they could bulk bill more and they could also attract more doctors. And I really want to thank the Health Minister for one visiting Murwillumbah and saying it's not a city, a regional area, and that it needed to be changed. And we corrected a mistake by the previous Liberal National Government, which was making it impossible previously to get bulk billing in Murwillumbah. But the Albanese Labor government listened. We changed it. There are now so many more doctors that are bulk billing. In fact, we've had a practice that now is universally bulk billing everyone ahead of our 1st of November changes. But it really shows that we are a government that really does listen to communities, acts on their concerns and improves it. And the fact now that so many people in Murwillumbah and surrounding areas can get a bulk billing doctor is so important, because previously they couldn't do it under the previous government. But we are a government with a big agenda, and as I say, Deputy Speaker, it's an absolute honour and privilege to have been re-elected for the 8th time, and one that I take very seriously. And I certainly want to thank all the people of Richmond for re-electing me.